the amazing thing about rugby is that every single person and every player on that team has a different body type that fits exactly what that position is, right? So my position is called a hooker, which my dad doesn't love. He's like, I don't love telling people my little girl is a hooker, but that's the name of the position. And it is a short, stocky, skilled player. And that's exactly what I am. So who would have thunk?
Hi, welcome everyone to the Story of You. This is our very first episode, and we have a special guest with us today, Karissa Lacy. Karissa gets to be my guinea pig on this show because she also happens to be my baby sister. So aside from that, though, she is been very successful in her life and her career. And so I'm excited to interview her so that you can learn more about her background. She just got licensed as a chiropractor and is in her first job as a chiropractor. So the opportunity to speak with someone who is just starting out in their career is very exciting because they are motivated and ambitious and ready to take on this new challenge. So with that, let's go ahead and start with our interview. Karissa, just tell us a little bit about where you are today and what you do for a day to day.
Awesome. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm just moved to Greensboro, Georgia. I considered it a small country town. However, my parents just came and visited me recently, and they're like, "This is not how you would describe this place. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a resort town with a beautiful lake and a small, cute downtown area, and that's where I get to work. And I'm working with the master. He's been in practice for 45 years at Frank's Chiropractic Life Center, and so that's what I'm doing right now. We are in there every day, getting my hands on people, and I'm having so much fun.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations on your new career and endeavors. So let's talk a little bit about your past and what brings you here. Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Florida, New Smyrna Beach, shark bite capital of the world.
Okay. And what was it like growing up in New Smyrna Beach, the shark bite capital of the world?
It was amazing. We lived in a little suburb outside of there, and I moved to the town where the house that my family still lives in when I was 5. And I am the youngest of 3 siblings who are extremely, well, Brooke, no offense, extremely older than me.
It's true. It's true. It's not a lie.
I pretty much had 2 sets of parents raising me when I was growing up, so that was really fun. And so yeah, I went to high school at Spruce Creek. That's where I was in the IB program, and I was really starting to just trying to figure out what I wanted to do there as a young adult. So not what I ended up doing, but that's besides the point.
So tell us, what were you like in high school? Describe who you were in at Spruce Creek High School.
Cool. So I was in the International Baccalaureate program, which is kind of the nerds. There was only like 150 of us that all had classes together, and so I worked really hard in class. We stayed up all night studying and doing everything to. They always made it sound like college was going to be so hard, so we were preparing for college. And then when you get to college, it's way easier than high school. So that was the work ethic that I created in high school. I was also an athlete. I weightlifted and I played flag football. So that pretty much took up most of my time. I had something every day after school. And then in the evenings, I went and danced at a dance studio. And so I was really stretching myself, but I had so much fun. And my 10-year school anniversary is coming up, so I'm kind of excited to see what everyone else is up to. But yeah, I was pretty much just an athlete and working really hard in school. That's who I was.
So she's being very humble about her athletic accomplishments in high school. Tell us more about your weightlifting and specifically some of your accomplishments there. And, tell us more about that.
Cool. So I started weightlifting my freshman year in high school. And by the time that I was a sophomore, I was on the varsity lifting team. It's kind of cool because I was almost a legacy because my sister, she was on the very first women's weightlifting team at Spruce Creek, and she knew my coach. He was actually her date at the Miss Spruce Creek. So we like walked her down the aisle. So I came in there with big shoes to fill. But by the time that I was a senior, we went to the state finals, and me and my really close friend Natalie Jansen, she's actually married now to one of our teammates, which is kind of cool, and they have this cute little baby. But we were both individual state champions our senior year, which was really amazing. It's cool. In weightlifting at the state final, you have two different flights. You have the lightweight flight and then the heavier weight. I had to gain some weight to get into that heavier weight class, but we did it. And so the lightweights, they all went first. And after that, we were not in first place. And there was only two of us in the heavier weight class. So it was really competitive. Like, we really had to hit our lifts and to make sure that we hit our numbers for our team to win. And historically, Spruce Creek is amazing at weightlifting. So it's like, we just had to win. We lost the year before by 1 point. And so it was a big deal. And so the second half of the competition, we both go in there, we both hit all 6 of our lifts, and we were individual state champions. And then we were able to bring home the team title as well, which was really cool. It's funny that I know all of these facts only because I recently just read the newspaper article that was written about all of this. Because I also played flag football, and my dad, he is a big football buff, and he always goes around telling people that I broke every single record, like the passing record, the catching record, the defensive pull record of flags pulled. I'm like, there's no way. Like, there's no way I threw the most and caught the most. But
throw to yourself.
That's what he tells everybody. So I'm like looking up the research article because my senior year, I also won the Women Athletic Person of the Year, I guess, out of my entire county. And so I got this cute little article written about me, and I reread it, and it obviously doesn't say that. I probably broke like a record or something like that. But don't tell my dad. He completely believes that.
So hold on. That was the News Journal.
Yes.
Which is the newspaper for the whole county. The predominant newspaper chooses one male and one female athlete of the year from each senior class. So for Volusia County, Florida, for your graduating class, you were chosen as the athlete of the year by the newspaper. That
is correct.
Okay. So that's exciting. What was that like for you in the moment of that championship, to have the pressure on your shoulders and to, have the ability to either win or lose this state championship for your team? And also, did you lift your best that day? Was that a record for you, or was it an off day?
It absolutely was a record for me. So the year before, my junior year, I was competing at the exact same competition, and I did not hit all my lifts. And our team ended up losing by 1 point, right? I mentioned that earlier. So that was a big motivating factor. I had it written on my locker, right? Like, 1 point, always to remind myself. And so that's kind of what I thought back to was, this is my senior year. I've been working out with these girls for 4 years, and now it's on me and my friends' shoulders. And so we absolutely hit our best lifts. I went 3 for 3. I broke my own personal records. My bench and my clean and jerk were both 195 pounds. And that was definitely a new personal best for me. Yeah.
195 pounds is what you bench pressed, and 195-pound clean and jerk.
Yes.
Did you continue to lift weights after high school?
After I graduated high school, I went to the University of South Florida. There wasn't too many scholarships for weightlifting and flag football, at least the type of weightlifting that I did. So I went on an academic scholarship, and I was trying to find new sports. I went to the gym, but it was not anything competitive like what I was doing. I felt silly in there, like trying to bench by myself with no spotter or anything like that. So I had to find a team. And that's where I found the sport that changed my life, honestly. I was actually, you were there with me. It was our orientation, and we were going around to all of the different clubs on campus. And I signed up for rugby, club rugby, and club ultimate frisbee. So every day at 6 o'clock, I was either playing rugby or frisbee, and I sucked at frisbee. I was so bad at it. It was a lot of running. I couldn't throw the disc. I still can't. My dad is a huge disc golfer, and he's upset about my skills at throwing the frisbee. But rugby clicked, and so that kind of changed the trajectory of my life once I started playing rugby.
So, as someone who in high school was the female athlete of the year for the whole county, how did it feel that you went on to college with no college athletic scholarship being offered?
Wow. I never even really thought about it like that. It kind of was just I couldn't play my sports because they're not offered. And so I didn't want to think of that as like an injustice in female sports, because I know that there's other ones out there. They're just not the ones that I chose. So it was disappointing, but I knew that I would find something eventually because it's in my DNA to play. I actually started playing intramural flag football, and that was fun, but that doesn't really go anywhere. So
So, you mentioned the sport that changed your life as rugby. So, what do you mean by that?
I played on a D2 club rugby team, and if if you guys know anything about rugby, it's very social sport, right? It's just having fun, beating people up, and so that's what I was introduced to, and it was so much fun. But I had a knacking for it. I was extremely physical based off of the other sports that I had played, and that's sometimes hard to coach somebody into. And so I got picked up to go to a USA camp after playing rugby for 1 year. It was like the biggest camp that they had ever hosted, 220 athletes. And so I go to this camp knowing absolutely nothing, doing terribly, by the way, not doing good at all. But I had known that I had heard about a team called Life University. So in rugby, you have the Sweet 16, which are the best 16 teams, and then you go up and you have the eight and semifinals, and then quarterfinals, semifinals, and nationals. And so our USF team, like wrote a letter because we weren't good enough to make it into the Sweet 16. We are like, hey, can you please let us come? Like, we will play our hearts out, right? And so they're like, fine, you can come. And so we get there, and I see this big bus pull up, says Life University. It's got all these green eagles on it, and these girls walk out in these matching uniforms. And I've never seen anything like that. And I was like, what is that team like? How do you get on that team? And my captain was like, oh, you have to become a chiropractor. I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. So just like I threw that out the window. Um, and then I go to this camp and I meet some of the life girls that go to Life University, and they're so sweet. And they're like, honestly, it's not that hard to get onto our team. Like, you could just contact them, right? So that was like in the back of my mind. And so it's the summer after my first year at college, and I kind of don't really know what I'm doing with my life. Like, I'm about to transfer to another school, and my mom meets a chiropractor, and she's like, you need to come meet her, she's helping me out, right? And so I go, and my mom tells her that I want to be a chiropractor, and I'm like, no, I don't, absolutely not. I would only want to go to this one school because they have an amazing rugby team. And sure enough, that's the school that chiropractor had graduated from, so she kind of was able to hook me up. But through my time there with her, Dr. Diane Tellier, she changed my life. I was struggling with extreme acne. I had a lot of hormonal issues, and she was able to to help my body heal from that. And it was amazing, and it changed my life. And once I started to realize how the body works and how it functions, if we allow it to function that way, I was hooked. And then the more I learned about it, the more I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do. So I eventually, yes, ended up at Life University playing rugby and eventually studying chiropractic.
Excellent. So how do you feel about your choice now?
Woo! Oh, it's so funny. You guys are going to love this story. So, when I graduated high school, like I said, I wanted to be a radio DJ. That was my plan. Me and Brooke were listening to all of these different radio shows, ideas that like I could be like Bobby Bones, or all these different things. But my sister knew that there wasn't really like a ton of money into that. So she posted on Facebook and she was like, everybody on Facebook, pretty much the synopsis of it was, tell my sister that I am right and that she needs to go into computers or something to be able to do whatever I end up wanting to do, but have a financial basis. And so all these people are like, yeah, like listen to your sister. She's so smart. She's so successful. And then I've got this very last post by one of our crazy cousins that we don't really talk to too much. Like I don't see him very often. He goes, you should become a chiropractor. Like, what? Who would have thought that our crazy cousin was the one that hit it right on the head? So,
Yeah, I don't know how he nailed that. Still. Um, so okay, so now I'm assuming you made the choice to transfer from USF to Life University. You changed your whole career path from radio DJ to chiropractic student. You're now playing on a college rugby team. What was that college and chiropractic school experience like?
great question. So, once I moved to Marietta, this level of rugby is elite, right? This is not the rugby that I originally introduced you to. These are the most competitive, hardworking, committed athletes I have ever met. And so this was a totally different atmosphere. We were up at 6 a.m. every morning doing our lifts. We were a varsity program, so we were training every day out on the pitch. I had some of the best coaches. To this day, they are still very impactful in my life. And so it was a completely different flip. I actually got to live kind of the dream that you mentioned, like I was student athlete of the year. I had no opportunity. And now, because of this sport that I found, I get to be a student athlete. And so that was really cool to kind of see all of that come to fruition. And it was amazing. I worked my way through the program. It's very competitive, like I said. I switched positions. I found a new position. They're like, hey, I think that you're going to excel at this new position. They were completely right. That's one thing that I really love about rugby. Everyone's like, oh, I'm too small or I'm too big or anything like that, right? But the amazing thing about rugby is that every single person and every player on that team has a different body type that fits exactly what that position is, right? So my position is called a hooker, which my dad doesn't love. He's like, I don't love telling people my little girl is a hooker, but that's the name of the position. And it is a short, stocky, skilled player. And that's exactly what I am. So who would have thunk? So it's kind of funny that really worked out. And then I worked my way through the program, right? By the time that I was a senior, I was the captain with my best friend. So that was really amazing, being able to captain the team that had given me so much. Um, and then eventually that's through my undergrad program, which I studied exercise science. And then after I graduated, I was unable to play anymore because I aged out. I was offered the graduate assistant program. So that was really amazing. I got to give back and coach to the team that had given me so much. So that was more fulfilling than even playing, honestly. Seeing the girls come in as freshmen until they graduate, right? So that was really cool. Being able to play with them, being able to coach them, and now seeing what they're doing after the fact is amazing. And so that really took up a lot of time throughout my chiropractic school. But it also helped pay for my chiropractic school. So that's great. And so then, yeah, I was able to finish off my career by graduating. I coached a total of 4 years, I believe. Um, and and I had a blast throughout it all.
Great. So now you start your first job in Georgia. How's that going?
It's going great. When I graduated, I was committed to finding a place in Florida, um, specifically the St. Petersburg area. I felt like I had some more stuff to do there around University of South Florida, but nothing was really popping up. Right, nothing was really just any no doors were opening. And then I met this amazing doctor. He was actually speaking at a seminar, and I just shook his hand. Right, like I whatever. I didn't think anything of it. But he was speaking on things that really were true to my heart, and that's still unique to find even in the chiropractic world. And then I went to an even smaller seminar that he was hosting, and he's like, "I'm looking for an associate." I was like, "No way!" So I read his book. I felt a lot of congruency between how I wanted to practice and what he was offering, and the thing that separated this situation from any other that I could find is that he wanted to be a mentor, right? He wanted to bring up young chiropractors and turn them into the best chiropractors that they could be, where all of the other offers I was seeing were come work for me, and you kind of just get the hours that I don't want to work, and you just good luck. But I wanted a teacher, and I wanted to learn from the best, and so that's what I've got here, and I'm just so excited and honored for that opportunity.
So when he was talking about things that were true to your heart, what were those things?
Cool. So the chiropractic philosophy is one big one. The two main principles in chiropractic is that we believe in the innate intelligence that created us has the ability to heal us. And then two is that if our body is working the way it's intended to, with free of interference, then that's what happens. And so that's what we get to do as chiropractors is find those areas of interference, remove them, and let the body heal and function the way it's supposed to. And in some areas of chiropractic, it's not true to that anymore. They're doing amazing things, they're helping people, but it's just not the philosophy that I want to practice in. So that was one main big thing, and then another is just the heart of serving. The the founder of our school, Dr. Sid Williams, he used to always say, "To do, to give, to serve out of abundance from our heart." And a lot of times people think of chiropractors as money hungry, just trying to get paid money grubbers, right? But that's really not what it's about. It's about serving because we have a gift that everyone deserves to be a part of, even if they can't afford it. And so that's something else that Dr. Rick truly lives by, is he believes in that principle, and he wants to make sure that everyone is under care regardless of their condition or their ability to pay.
That's awesome. So it sounds like you have a heart not just to practice in your profession, but to help and serve people and in their health, generally speaking. And chiropractic is the tool you use to do that. So,
Exactly.
so if you could have it all your way, where is all of this going?
Perfect. So I would love to work here. I've just moved here, right? But I've set a range from 2 to 6 years. I know that's a big one. They would obviously love for me to stay here as long as possible because we've got a goal. We've got a goal of going 5x, no excuses. So we want to build build the chiropractic practice around this area to make sure that everyone is under care in this area. Um, and we're going to try to make that happen as soon as possible. For me, however, I want to help with that process, of course, and see it to fruition. However, long term, I would love to go back to Florida and open up my own practice.
And what would that practice look like?
Cool. It's kind of a unique vision. I think I haven't been able to see a model like this yet, because I don't know. I don't know why. To me, it seems so simple. but this is what I envision. I've got my small chiropractic office. Well, not small, but big enough to be able to see. The goal is 1,000 people a week. I would love to be able to see 1,000 people a week, if not more, with me focusing solely on the chiropractic aspect of that. However, I would also love for one of my best friends recently graduated from massage therapy school. So I would love to be able to work with her and have a massage therapy unit as well. And then on the wing, just having this open space for group fitness classes, unique, fun, physical things to do together, and a space for the community. So I've noticed through my life that everyone wants to be relatively healthy and everyone knows that they should work out and exercise. However, it's really hard to do by yourself. It's very hard to be self motivated to do those things. And my overall goal with all of this is to change the paradigm of health and wellness in my hometown. Um, and the way I want to be able to do that is living healthy together, encouraging people to be able to come together and enjoy that space and enjoy working out without the goal and shame of losing weight, but to be truly healthy and live optimally. And then also using that space for really whatever the community needs it for. Just a place of fellowship and community. So that's pretty much what I envision. Because like I said, my goal overall is to change the health of the country. I mean, not the country, the county, the city that I live in. Maybe the country. That would be amazing.
You're going to see 1,000 patients a day. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Not a day, a week.
A week. That's still, how many is that a day? That's a lot a day. 200 a day if you have a 5-day work week.
Yep.
It's a lot of people. So, well, those are some very ambitious goals, but with everything that you've accomplished thus far, I have no doubt that you will accomplish your dreams and goals. And it'll be interesting to see along the way, as someone who's new in the profession now, if those goals and vision change at all over the course of time, sort of like it has as you were coming up through high school and college. So it's been a pleasure having you on the show today. It is very motivating to hear someone who's fresh into their career, and the excitement that you have, I think would help re-motivate anyone who's listening to the show, just to remind them of why they chose their profession and remind them of the excitement that they once had. If maybe they're at a place that they've kind of gotten stagnant or gotten bored maybe with the same profession for a period of time. So thank you for enlivening that passion in all of us who aren't so new in our from your much older sister. And is there any final thoughts you'd like to share before we sign off?
Thank you for doing this. It's kind of funny because like I said, I wanted to be a radio DJ, and now we've got the opportunity to kind of just do it on our own, right? There's nothing holding us back. And so I think it's really admirable that you're going out and doing this, and it's encouraging me to get my butt after it and do it as well. So thank you for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
Well, thank you. And that's all we have for today. And we wish you the best and know that you will be successful in all of your future endeavors, and look forward to hearing from you again, maybe sometime a couple years down the road, to check back in and let us know how you are doing on your plans and dreams.
Thank you so much.